So a common function that's being asked of MarcEdit as more and more people are getting ILS systems that are able to utilize Unicode data, or working with vendors that only provide data in Unicode while their system still provides only support for legacy MARC formats, is how do I convert my MARC records from one character set to another? Well, in MarcEdit there's actually an easy way to do this, to make this process happen. And it supports by default a number of character sets, but I'm going to show you the two most common functions in action, and then we'll look at where else you can do character conversions in MarcEdit. This file here, the marc2.mrc file, this is a set of files here. Let's open it up. This is in MARC8 data, so let's just execute it and take a look at what this looks like. You can tell when a mnemonic file is in MARC8 by these mnemonic elements here. These represent diacritics within the MARC schema. And so what we're going to do is we're going to translate this file into Unicode. We do this by clicking on this Translate to UTF-8. And what this tells us is, what this is telling MarcEdit is that as it's breaking the file, translate that file to Unicode. And so let's go ahead and run it again. And this time if we look at that record, we'll see that those mnemonics have been translated into their diacritic equivalent. Now we can take this record back. Let's say we were in a system that doesn't utilize Unicode records, but only can utilize MARC8 records. And what we've gotten is we've gotten a record that's in Unicode. We can click on the MARC maker, translate back to Unicode, translate from Unicode to MARC8. Let's go ahead and select our file. And again, we've done the translation, and now let's go ahead and look at that file again. That's going to be this one here. We'll execute it. And we look at the file, and we see that those diacritics have been translated back into, we see that those Unicode characters have been translated back into their diacritic equivalents. Now MarcEdit provides functionality to do a lot of character translations, not just the MARC to Unicode and Unicode to MARC. If we look here, underneath Tools in the MARC Editor MARC Breaker function, we have this tool called Character Conversion Tools, and we have one that's from MARC8 to Unicode, Unicode to MARC8, and then other conversions. And let's look at this dialogues utility. From here, we can give it a source file, we can give it a destination file, and then we can select any one of these character maps that's defined within Windows. So let's say we got a file that was in Greek. It was using the Greek code page. We could use this, and then we could translate it to MARC8, or we could translate it to Unicode, or we could translate it to Cyrillic using the Windows Cyrillic code page. Occasionally we'll get files, you might get a file that's in a code page that's not defined. No problem. Just enter in the code page number. For example, the Unicode code page is 65001. Enter in the code page number, and you can get these from Microsoft. Just enter in whatever language you're in plus code page, and then pick a translation and coding. One of the code pages I see this happen most often on is for things in Indian language scripts like Tamil. There's an actual Tamil language code page, and if you enter that code page number here into the original encoding and select something like MARC8, give it a source file and destination file, it'll do the process and translate that data from from that language character set to either MARC8 or Unicode or whatever other language you wanted to process it in. So that gives, by doing that, it gives MarcEdit a lot of functionality and a lot of power to be able to allow users to utilize files in multiple different languages and be able to translate them into languages that their library systems will understand.